Welcome back to McCarthy Performance. This is Pat McCarthy. We were doing 871 heads, oval ports, and well, you know, I got busy and things were kind of loud in the shop. It was really hard for me to make a video. So the heads are done. Well, you've seen me put the guides in. I did a valve job. Cut it for 188s, 219s, and before we get into this too far, there's things that I can do to enhance the flow of these heads. Now I didn't do it. This is better than a basic valve job, but the heads needed some serious work and the valves were getting hammered into it, so it needed to go to complete seats or bigger valves. So that's what we did. We went to the bigger valve, and I went to 11 30-seconds valve because they're a little lighter. I don't know if you'd see any difference in flow. One of these days I'll put it on my flow bench. Somebody that flows every day probably has got that answer. I don't. The bowls are within 15% of the valve. Like I said, could there be some more power to be gained in these heads? Yeah, there's a lot of videos on the internet of these heads, and I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel. But these heads do make good power, but they don't particularly care for a hell of a lot of lift. Now, I've put usually 550 lift in most of these engines like this, and if I'm going to do a bowl job and some other work, then, you know, usually I go to a 600 roller for the street, like a hydraulic. Okay, so the valves are Engine Pro. That's just the company I get them through. They're a decent valve for the money, and we'll be using basically a Viton steel chimney positive valve seal, and I buy these in bulk, but you can get these, everybody sells them now, and this is the valve seal that I prefer, and that's what we'll be using. Okay, now this head had originally exhaust rotators. You want to get rid of them if you all can. Some heads, big blocks, have two sets. They actually have them on the exhaust and intake. And anyways, this is an exhaust eliminator rotator, exhaust rotator eliminator. Some big blocks have them on the intake, like I said, too. So you'd have to buy two sets if you were messing around with some small peanut port heads or Vortec heads, I believe. So anyways, heads are milled. Took 5 thousandths off them. There's a little bit of staining on here. These heads are old, you know, you kind of got to expect some of that stuff, you know, but they basically cleaned up pretty nice, and they had been worked on before. I'll take you off and show you closer what we got going on here. So these are all multi-angle. I used the Goodson 3D on this. I think I got the angles. I'll give it to you. I want to say it's a 69B, but I don't believe that's it. So anyways, that's what they look like. All the guides are in there. They're all finished off. They're all sized. And the valve angles are for that Goodson cutter, it's a 35, 45, 60, and a 75. And on the exhaust, I've got a 30, 34, I'm sorry, 30, 45, 65, and a 75. And there's a couple other angles, very subtle in here when I cleaned off the step off. So there's actually another angle in there. Probably play hell to find it, but it's just enough to break the angle off of the edge of the valve seat coming off the combustion chamber. I know that I do a lot of different things, and sometimes they don't get finished. But these heads, as far as I'm concerned, I'm doing these for another shop, and they're gonna do whatever they want. They just needed them to get to this point. That's what I did, and that's what I provided them. And thanks for watching my videos. Should be doing something soon again. Thank you.